What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Lazy King with King's Critiques, and we are back for Spy Family. In the last episode, we ended off on Lloyd's little comatose trip to the past, and learned a lot about him in his youth, and got a little vibe of what that pragmata effect is, I suppose. But I guess this was one of the first pieces of content in modern day history to give some people that kind of feeling, regardless on what certain parts of the internet wants to twist it into. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other kind of situation. For now, however, we're back in present day, and Anya's going to try and make good at her school to try and do better with things. As well as, of course, Lloyd and Yor going about their average daily way of life. That being said, let me know your thoughts about the season so far, or just cap it till the end for whatever's in your mind then. Hit the like button, subscribe, let the whole video, and then get the watch time, and let's get to it. So, famous guy from one part of the world goes to another part of the world and instantly lies and slander. Okay, well, mostly lies and slander. The thing about him cheating on his wife, that might be real, because 9 times out of 10 with celebrities, that's probably the most true statement that could happen. But as far as, leaking government secrets, I don't know about that, Chief. But okay, under any other situation than what's actually happening, that would be a turn on. And even in the situation that it is in, might be a little bit of a turn on. But he's bitching about the fact that the famous singer coming from the other side of things might be, as bad of a scumbag as the tabloids say. And what have we went over in Oshinoko? Tabloids are often scumbags and liars. Same with, the media outlets in general. So, don't believe everything you hear, see, read, or whatever. Just, yeah. Because most people believe the first thing they see, and that's usually what gets them in trouble. Exactly, which is why she doesn't read it. Because, true or not, it's Drac. Because you have to be. Because, really, in a general consensus, most of the time, when somebody says a majority of people, what's the majority? Like, how many people did you ask? Did you ask, 5 people and 3 of them said the bad thing? Because, percentages are kind of fucky like that. Depending on how many people you actually ask, that's what you really gotta take into consideration as majority. That's why most things used to say, kind of like how game shows and shit do. We asked 100 people, therefore you know what the percentage is when they're questioning stuff like that. Like that fucking game show with Joel McHale. We asked this many of 10 people answered this question correctly. Also, this kind of thought process, why a lot of us in our 30s can call ourselves old. Because while not by number, definitely from this. She probably really wants to tell him to just shut the fuck up. Stop reading those things, shut up, go away, do your job. And he was just talking shit about him yesterday. That you wouldn't find in today's political world, is people so easily jumping ship. It takes a lot for somebody to jump ship nowadays. At least in our political area. That I can't say much about, but ours, yeah, it takes a lot to jump ship. Not just the media being that back and forth about it and some idiot listening to it. Though some idiot listening to it definitely keeps people at bay. Meanwhile, she's thoroughly annoyed that he's being a hypocritic idiot. Which, based. Thank you. I adore her so very much. In general, she's very pretty and very respectable as, a businesswoman. But as a human being, I respect the hell out of hitting him for being a hypocrite. Even in the audience on TV, she sees somebody suspicious. Crazy how somebody's brain can work like that. I see one individual in the audience to be like, nah, it's that motherfucker right there. Why does she know the security guard's routes for this thing? Because you guys are, intelligent. You're supposed to know these things. Therefore, she's smart. Duh. She just calls some dude at a kebab stand to keep an eye on the guy. Again, Central Intelligence knows their way with shit, I guess. Well, dude's about to try his hand. Is Kebab Man gonna save the day, or is Miss Intelligence gonna show up? I forgot what her, given code name is. Yep. The goons are here. Stall and he will. Yeah, but he's up to something for good, not evil like the other dude back there. Oh shit, he about to take a heel to the face. Oh no, she taking off her belt. That's even worse. Or better, depending on your perspective. Good. That's what happens when you try to take shit in your own hand when you are just being an asshole. Meanwhile, the security didn't even notice the guy getting taken out who was about to do some shit. She threw out her shoulder trying to kick that guy's ass. Well, that's what happens when you're in your 30s. Exactly as I said. That's what happens when you're in your 30s and you're trying to kick some ass. You do good at your job, but unfortunately you pay for it later on. Yeah, it's crazy when people try to do something fucked up just thinking they, speak for all other people. Did he? Did he learn his lesson? Or is he just going to be a hypocrite again with the next one? Well, shit. Yeah, like I said, 9 times out of 10 with celebrities, cheating on your wife, that's probably the more true one out of everything people are going to talk shit about you with. Okay, but again, before we get to the Anya part of the episode, sure, it's kind of a baddie. Meanwhile, the bus to take them home is late, and Anya's just stuck at the bus stop with a quiet kid who's reading, who honestly might even just go about his own business somewhere else. Yep. Leaving a 6-year-old alone, even in front of the school, probably not the best idea. Actually, how old is Anya by season 3? Probably still 6. I'm not gonna say the other number because we can't even count anymore without it being cringe. She gets discovered alone and gets picked up by an older man. That never ends well. Well, okay, I should say older person, but teacher or not, never goes well. Even if he's just asking her to help a favor, that rarely goes well. Then again, like I said earlier about the other thing, this is, Japan, I think. So it's less likely to happen than North America. And I do say North America because there have been cases that happen in Canada, that kind of shit. And other parts of the world, obviously, but Anya, that's not the right fruit. I mean, granted, that's not much better than an apple, so I guess both suck, but that's not the right metaphor. 2? Don't you only have 1? Bah. She fucking up hard. now she doesn't just bring 2, she brings many. Yeah, and she can hear that in her voice, so, that's not very elegant of you. I mean, yeah, ambitious and shallow. That's what a lot of preppy people are, so... I mean, she at least has that vibe down. Meanwhile, he's going through the semantics of how the candy was created, and she's just taking it by the handful. Which, honestly, I do kind of respect kids for that, being able to take stuff by the handful and just, I can't do that no more. Even if this wasn't how it was, I wouldn't be able to do that no more, man. Shit, I try with, bunch of crunch and stuff, and I can only, get, 2 or 3 in there at a time. Becomes way too much. Again, you're questioning her on the flavor of the candy. She's fucking 6. She will understand the complexities of taste and flavor and umami later in her life. She got her candy and now she's gone. Unfortunately, you could not help her today. But maybe when this just goes up a little more. At least she thanked him. Well, thanked him. But that's not one of those times I'll make fun of the subtitle crew like I did in the first episode. Because at that time, I think it was, one of the adults talking. Though if it was her, maybe I'll, track back on my complaint from back then. But, yeah, she's, again, 6, so when she, doesn't say something correctly, so therefore they misspell what she's saying, that I'll actually give a bonus point to the subtitle people for mimicking the exact way she's talking. There are other instances where people, can misspeak something and they do that, and it works. So it's funny. Damn. That just kind of reminds of the Vidal and Spopovich thing, except for in this case, Yor's actually, able to handle herself. She says that now, but for how long is she going to commit to that? Because last time, that did not go so well. And that's his immediate thought. Which, no, not yet. He's already feeling fainty, even though that's not the actual reason. And she's just there like, why do you doubt me so much, Father? I'm just going to leave it on that to explain the end of the episode stuff. Because honestly, the look on Anya's face is priceless right now. That expression of hers is probably one of my favorite gremlin-like activities that I see these days. Just in meme format or in general, because it's actually hilarious. But, that said, seems like Central Intelligence has their own hands full with incompetent employees, for one. Because, listen, that one guy, he didn't have it all up here. So, hopefully he figures it out by year 3 in the job, because he's no Twilight. Speaking of, yeah, Lloyd really needs to put his expectations lower, so he doesn't always think that Anya's going to be a failure and be on the verge of passing out. Which, again, I don't blame him for thinking that on occasion. But hey, your kid's not that much of a fuck up. And, for all intents and purposes, anything talked about involving, certain subjects in this episode, we're not involving any thoughts specifically towards one end or another. Everything has been talked mutually. And, yeah. Because the examples used in the show are from an Asian area and have nothing to do with us. That said, if you have thoughts on anything else about the episode, season, show as a whole, or whatever else might be on your mind, and about the statement from 2 seconds ago, please do be respectful, because regardless on any references, nothing has been specified, so therefore, please, yeah. Also, let me know about any other shows, movies, etc. I should check out this season, next season, or in general. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the other channels in the description, ring bells, like Facebook, follow, Blue Sky, TikTok, forgot Twitter, Patreon, Twitch, and all that stuff. Thank you to the patrons who are currently subscribed that are listed in the description down below. I'll eventually get an end card for that. Until next time, Ben the Blazer King with King's Critique, so ta-ta for now. Peace.